Hey everybody, just checking my stream here, making sure things look good. I don't think I have the best of signals right now, but I wanted to show you a little bit of a different look of what, a lot of times we see tornado chasers and stuff out. And I follow a bunch of them. And hey everybody, just checking audio there, just checking my stream here, making sure things look good. I don't think I have the best of signals right now, but so just verifying we're working good. All right, doesn't look like it's breaking up. So I wanted to show you a different look of what happens sometimes when we've all seen the tornado chasers, and we've seen that. We know what they do. They go out, they try to intercept the storms. Now my goal, turn this down a little bit, is to show you more what we do when, especially like in emergency communications mode, and what's going on. So let me pop in here. We'll say hi. So I'm here in Southwest Missouri. We have a enhanced risk today. We've already had some tornado warnings issued around Joplin area. So what we do when we're in communications mode like this, net mode, you might hear us say a net going on, NET. What we're talking about is simply a communications net. Another way to think of that is a network, a group of people that are out there, and we're basically, you've heard the group maybe Skywarn, S-K-Y-W-A-R-N, Skywarn, and that's a group of people that have been trained by the Weather Service as spotters. A little bit different than storm chasers. Chasers will, in a sense, try to get and follow that storm all the way, whereas spotters generally tend to follow along with stay in their area, like their counties, or sometimes that they've been assigned a certain spot by their fire department or something like that. So they kind of tend to be more locally trained. Like for example, Reed Timmer is up in our area today. He was over by Joplin there on the tornado warning that's already been issued over there in system. So he's going to drive around, kind of be just going all over with that one. Whereas we're real familiar with our area, and I thought maybe what I'd do is just show you some of the tools. Looks like I lost my front camera there. So some of the tools of what we use, like radar scope. That's a big one I like to use. Now the difference between us, they'll stream their storm chasing. This is the first time I've ever attempted this in a car. And you can see the little circle there. That's where I'm located currently. And I'm trying to get in position to intercept these storms as they approach my county. Again, I'm not really interested in driving across state or anything like that for the way we do our storm spotting here and stuff. Because we tend to work hand in hand with our local National Weather Service. So our National Weather Service office in our particular area has 38 counties that they cover. And so the purpose of having spotters, storm spotters, is those radars scan, and the lowest setting is 5 degrees. So that's the lowest beam. And what we do is we'll send weather reports, stuff like that, over the radio, and the local meteorologist there can pick it up. In the past few years, they've started integrating a system called Slack or Weather Chat. You'll hear it called Weather Chat, and it uses Slack it's kind of like a private text group. So a lot of our net controllers have that ability to text in, and we use RF as a backup. So, like in our county right now, we have a we're not really like in our county right now we have a we're not really in anything. Although I'm looking at that stuff coming out of northern Arkansas there, northwest Arkansas, moving northeast. So I'm kind of checking that out. You can see a little bit of bowing on it. What happens is our net will activate here locally. We have a regional net that's handling a lot of the traffic as well. But in our most every county, or most repeaters usually will have a Skywarn net when it's weather like this impending and stuff. So what happens is those net controllers actually have. I'm just listening. It sounds like a new warning's coming out there. So I'm listening to. I don't want to lose my train of thought too much. We have our net controllers have the slack and ability to communicate directly with the National Weather Service. So us mobile operators, we're out relaying over the radio on our Skywarn frequency for our region, our area, and then we'll relay any reports, and vice versa. Maybe the net control will send out, they'll say, hey, they're looking at some rotation over here, or this particular area, look, there's probably going to be this or that, some hail and stuff like that, strong winds. So what they do is they use, like the amateur radio community, they'll use volunteer firefighter, law enforcement, a lot of medical, and a lot of the first responders and public service people are out there also, attend the same kind of classes that we take to do that. And so we're watching that. We're just basically trying to confirm what they're seeing on the ground. So that's our job as storm spotters. So maybe we say the difference between storm spotter versus storm chaser. A chaser, and again, I don't oppose this at all. That's their full-time job. They do that full-time. They stream nationwide. They've got pretty intensive setups. I'm just barely touching it. I threw a GoPro, and there's something going on with it now. It decided to power off on me. I don't know what's going on. And what's funny is the other day I actually did a stream just as a test. But they've got elaborate setups. Several of them are now flying drones up and linking the drones into and incorporating that into their streams. So in a sense, they've become a broadcast, like maybe an alternative to some of the TV broadcasts. A lot of us get our news and information offline now, off streaming services. So that's kind of what they do, is they're providing that service. So the idea with that is, they're maybe communicating directly straight to the audience, the end customer. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but they're talking directly to you guys. But now just remember, there's a lot of people that aren't live streaming, or that's not the word. They're not watching YouTube full time to get that live stream to find out what's going on. So a lot of people maybe are at a ball game and stuff like that, so they're not going to get the alerts like from Ryan Y'all or some of those others, which they all serve a great purpose. Not degrading that. The GoPro just decided to wake back up. Maybe keep an eye on it. So what we do is we're more of a public service, and we're reporting that directly to the National Weather Service. That's who we're going directly to. We're issuing those reports. So they're the ones, the National Weather Service now, they're the ones that will then take and in turn issue the watches and warnings. So, like, let's say the family's at a ball game, and or even here, we're in a tourist town. You gotta You know, the Ferris wheel right there on the right. I don't know if you can see that. Different tourist towns. So a lot of these people may not even be from this area, and they're trying to figure out. You know, they're having fun. They're playing putt-putt golf. It's a little windy. They're not really sure what's going on. They don't know what to expect. There's a couple guys out jogging, running. You know, so a lot of the people aren't aware of the situation. They're not tuned in to what's going on. They're out living their lives. So the National Weather Service is the part of the government that's responsible for issuing those watches and warnings. And maybe you've been at a concert or something, and everybody's phone starts going off, and it's an alert letting you know that you know, tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning or something like that. So what we do is we try to be the eyes, the boots on the ground to confirm. You know, they say, hey, we see some rotation, and we're down here looking and say, yeah, I see a funnel, I see a tornado on the ground. Difference between a funnel hasn't touched the ground. You know, so this helps them confirm what they're seeing and establish better alerts and warnings ahead of time. So again, that's our goal. But now I want to talk a little bit about some of the communication devices that I'm using. And I'm about to get to one of my spots that I like to, you know, a spotter sometimes will sit at a designated spot and just park and watch. In our county here, there's a couple of us that will rove. We call ourselves rovers, and we'll kind of still stay within our area. We're not going out of the city, or, you know, we'll stay within our county, I should say. We don't really travel too far. So that being said, you know, what I'm doing now is I'm positioning myself to one of those places. Meanwhile, as I hit stoplights, I take a few seconds. You know, I'm not staffed. Like I was watching Reed Timmer last night. He's got a car full. He's got a guy that's shooting rocket. He's got a guy that's doing just navigation. And he's got a couple, you know, one guy that's doing drone and video. And that's necessary when you're, you know, he's essentially for lack of better words, a business. You know, he's trying to do that full time, or he's successful at it. But so he has a full production company that support that. A lot of us out here in this situation, it could be a volunteer fireman at a, you know, posted somewhere, and he's supposed to just, you know, give watch there. So that's kind of what we're doing. I want to talk a little bit about the radios, and because even my saying, good information, give information. So, you know, obviously I need direct communications with the weather office, the National Weather Service. But first, let's talk about, like, a lot of people ask about the radar I like. I prefer Radar Scope. It's kind of the go-to, you know, app for most of the storm spotters and chasers, and it's really good. It has a couple subscription, you know, levels. I just got a severe thunderstorm warning for the area, so the cells that are coming in, they're doing some advanced warnings for it, what they'll call downstream warning. We are under tornado watch as well, so I'm just pulling in here to one of my spots I like to look and be able to see out. Let me show you what that looks like. We're just kind of, this system coming in now is coming from the west, so it may head on down just a little bit. Radar Scope will also give you this. No, it doesn't show up on your display. All right. That's interesting. Let me try zooming out on it. No. Okay, that's interesting. So the output is only showing, so it gives you velocity as well. I'll pull it up on my phone if I have to. I'll just show you that way. But basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to watch the winds So we'll start, when I get pulled over up here, I'll show you that. So I like to use radar scope while I'm out in the field. I remember back in the day we used to not have anything like that, so what we would do is we relied more on somebody like our net control operator. He or she would be watching the radar there at home. Now with cellular apps and cellular data, pretty good coverage, we can monitor the apps ourselves out here in the field. I use that to help base my decisions on where I'm going to go and where I'm going to set up. So I'll show you some more radar scope here in a minute once I get parked. Radio-wise, let's just start across. So it could be overwhelming for somebody that's not used to listening to radio. At the very least, I recommend a weather alert radio. At home, for sure, you can get them. They have the SAME, S-A-M-E, specific area message encoding is what that stands for. I just want to make sure this, I've never streamed on this laptop, so I may be, I'm just kind of curious if I'm breaking up. The other day I had a stream and it was so spotted, and I ended up having to do some studying to make sure I was streaming okay, but changed some settings, and I did not do that on here. So anyways, let's jump back to radios. Weather radio, specific area message encoding at the very least. You could set it up at my house, and I've done some videos on them in the past. I've got 3. I've got one that sits in the basement. That's kind of where one of my offices are. And I just sit down there. I can monitor that full time. And I have it set to everything, not just tornado warnings. I have it set to anything. Reason being is, I want to be able to hear it, whether it's a tornado or, severe thunderstorm. I've got one in the kitchen, and I have it set the same way. I have it set to everything. And then in the bedroom next to my bed, I have it set to go off for tornado alerts only. Maybe a couple other things too. So let's see what this is saying here. Thank you, Joker. Just checking here. Might send me a message there or something. Stream's bit rate. It's asking about changing the bit rate, so I just want to make sure I'm not pixelating. Like one stream I tried to do, and it was horrible. But all right, so let's get in. We'll talk a little bit about radios as I'm catching up on what I'm doing here. So it's a pretty simple way to do this. Let's go here. So radar scope, you have the regular, I can change this screen to reflectivity and this one to my velocity. And you can plot yourself on there. And what I'm doing on the velocity is I'm looking for any kind of winds going in the opposite directions on rotation. Also bowing, any kind of bowing, high winds coming out. So I'm looking at, I wonder if the marker works. I'm looking at this cell here. Of course, it doesn't like that, so. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that. The This has an, oh yeah, there you go. So you can see me drawing on it now. So, but it doesn't let you see the velocity if I change rotation now. That is interesting. It doesn't let you see that. So, well, since you can't see it, I'll just put it back on full screen. Now I pay for the advanced. Let's take a quick look. You can kind of see there's a mesoscale discussion here in this blue circle. It's kind of like this one here. You can see what it's saying. Convective discussion here, 504. This red line here is a tornado watch, and if I click in there, it should tell us there. Tornado watch 154. Telling different counties. And now you can kind of hear it. I'm starting to come in a little bit. But what I'm doing is I'm on my other screen, I'm actually looking for any rotation. Now it does say we have a severe thunderstorm warning. So what I'm going to do is I'm turning on a scanner that I've got just for National Weather Service. So you can probably hear that.
Rainfall, some thunderstorms that move through the warm area this morning. Between 2 and 4 inches of rain have fallen.
So when I'm out spotting,
This includes the following low water crossings.
I will turn this down to where I can just barely hear the weather alert go off. So that's kind of running most of the time in my background. And so what I'm going to do is go up here on my high point. The other thing I have on is I have a police scanner going, and it is it's just general public service for our county dispatch, fire dispatch, you know, a lot of our different dispatches like that. I'm listening to that, not too loud in the background, but it is there. The other radio I have running is an APRS radio. It's starting to get a little bit of lightning now. And its purpose is basically just position reports. So it's transmitting my position about every 2 or 3 minutes, but I also have smart beaconing on. And the purpose of smart beaconing is it knows like when I'm turning, making sharp curves or anything like that, going through a lot of curves or whatever, and it keeps up with that. And so I actually have shared that link with my my net controller, so they can watch me on the APRS network driving around. And you'll just hear beeps out of that. You don't really, nothing too noticeable on it. The next radio is just a dual band VHF, UHF radio that I use. On the one side, the left, call it the A side or the left channel, I leave our local net on it. And that's my local net controller, all the people I'm trying to stay in touch with and everything there. The B side, I can actually move it around if I need to. That way I don't ever lose, my net control. I'm still listening to him. He's kind of monitoring, our chat with the weather office to see if they're looking for anywhere specific. So we'll have that one going. And as you can see here, I am on this. The little blue circle's me. Click that little cell there. I keep unplugging it on accident. There we go. So, kind of watching here, the storm's moving this way. When you click on it, it'll actually tell you the times. So 3:46. So it'll be here at 3:46, and then 4:01 up here. So I'm just kind of waiting out here to see what comes of this. No, you can't see it. Not seeing. Could switch it here. Let's go here. There you go. So some strong winds. Nothing. Green is going towards the radar site. Not seeing a lot of, just some gust winds here on some of these. Let's read the text for the warning here. Setting on our winds, quarter size hail. It's kind of a little interesting feature here. So let's see what that looks like here. And so here's one of my net control frequency. I'm turning it up now so we can hear what he's saying. Kind of looks like it's calmed down quite a bit. We were having tons of warnings there earlier. I actually don't see any tornado warnings anywhere across the country. That's good.
Caught your call sign, but I couldn't tell if you were calling for somebody specifically or just throwing your IP out there.
Basically, I was trying to see if Bill is not up some starboard network or some warning CF. That I've been monitoring.
This frequency for the last hour or so, I haven't heard anything about this particular.
They're just talking about.
Thank you, Andrew. Break. Central Station. This is NY0J for Charlie Skyward.
So this is our backup alternate net control coming in. So what he's doing is basically reading the alert off. I do have a DMR radio that's also running in the background. And so what I'm doing is I'm just checking out here, again, just watching my radar. The main thing I want to do is make sure I'm not putting myself in any harm. We're not an intercept vehicle, and that's not our purpose. I'm watching this little spot here. Kind of see how that wind looks like it's
since we're in the storm
picking
zone,
it up.
that repeater is now secured for storm-related activities. We'd like you to keep your normal traffic down to a minimum. I will be taking damage reports as this storm hits. What we're looking for in damage is tornadoes, funnel clouds, rotating wall clouds, hail 1 inch or larger in diameter, which is about a U.S. quarter size. Wind gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour if they are measured. Any flooding of streams, creeks, or rivers that are out of the banks, and any roads or streets that are possible due to high water or debris across the roads. Please do not call net control when these severe weather events are occurring. When you call net control, just give me your call sign and I will get back to you for the report. This is NY0J for Tri-Lake Skyward.
So basically what he did is just read the criteria of what they're looking for.
That storm is now just about to the western border of Taney County.
So he just read off the criteria for that system and what they're looking for. So try to rerun that a little bit. Just a second, I'm going to reroute a cable. Try to make that not cut out. That should be a lot better. Right, let me know in the comments if the stream is staying together pretty well. If not, I will work on that. It looks like I lost my GoPro again. I've had some issues. They do overheat a lot of times. I may just try switching the defrost on, just let that cool.
Tri-Lake Skyward. A little late with this, folks. Here it is. Severe thunderstorm warning for Mary. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for 30 western Peony, Christian Stone, and Green County. 346. Severe thunderstorms are located along the line extending from near Ashburn to Clever. Reinforced moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. This one has 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. This is radar indicated. Locations that will be impacted are Silverado City, Crane, Spokane, Rockaway Beach, Kirbyville, Village, Chadwick, Curly, Blue Eye, Nixa, Sparta, Table Rock, and Selmore. Again, folks, we're under a tornado watch until 7 p.m. This is a warning for western Taney County. AB0BH for Tri-Lake Skyward. The time now is 6:04.
This is Taney County right here.
AB0BH and where's
We're on Western Taney, so that's.
Go ahead, Jim. FYI, I had already started the net. I couldn't get a hold of you, so I went ahead and started on the frequency.
Again, looking here, seeing some differences.
Sorry, Jim, I was finishing up. We just finished up the other time. So we're away.
Just some inconsistencies in that.
Flip over and try to hit 150 on different radio. All right?
So I'm going to be watching that.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that if you hit that one, you're probably better than I am. I'll stay here. This thing moves fast. It's going to be here probably another 15 or 20 minutes. That will work. Okay. Thanks, Jim. 0BH. That's right. 50.
trying to get this GoPro to transmit its position again.
M0WFK, are you still there on 195?
W0TRI Victor.
Yes, sir, M0W. Hey, I'm gonna try something on a different radio on the 150. Can you switch over and see if you can hear me? You bet. See you over there. M0W.
What I may do is just flip my camera around and let you guys use that. Because that's where. Bear with me here as we flip the cameras. That works. Get back this way. So again, I'm watching. Now they just issued a tornado warning south of us. Here's another spotter report. I don't really see, 544. I'm reading the chat, and they're saying there's possibly a funnel up here. Now, that big black circle is the radar site, so that's why you can't see anything. And honestly, the meteorologists have a hard time seeing anything. But I'm trying to find it. Alright, I don't really see a lot of intensity in this, so I'm not too concerned about hell. But just trying to keep an eye on. It does look like there's going to be some good winds out of this. So something that happens a lot is when people know you're into like weather and stuff like that, you may start getting a lot of phone calls. So that actually happens a lot. Of course, you can see my antenna there. That's, just ignore that. That's my HF antenna. And I've got 2 radars open. I am still seeing a little bit of interesting. It's nothing to get too excited about, but see. This is when it gets fun. You can't hardly hear or see. Again, I'm really watching that.
You quoted about 48 miles per hour. Location outdated Glendale,
Traffic stop down here on the right. Keeping an eye on the radar here. When you're in this, you can't really see things, so you're just kind of watching this.
Location at this point. This is the 108 for Charlie Skyward. 16 and 0.
Net control KB0WZI.
KB0WZI go.
Just be advised, 76 highway in front of Shepherd of the Hills is pretty much coming to a stop. It is a whiteout, so when this hits, it's going to be no visibility. So again, I can't. Two radars going, just kind of watching both. I haven't heard any new warnings come out. Oh, hey, Joker Radio, thank you for that reply. Again, this thing's got a weird caution up here. It says suggestion, and so I didn't know if I needed to change anything, but... So as this moves, I may move with it a little bit. As people are pulling over. Traffic's still coming to stop down there. And so what I'm doing is I'm just kind of watching this. Really?
That I mentioned is now here in Brampton area by the Super Walmart and Brampton Hills.
So now that it's let up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and transition.
www.weather.gov/safety/flood turnaround. Don't travel and cut in front of it.
A little bit of dead tree damage there.
Things are starting to get pretty dicey up here by Table Rock Lake. I don't have a weather picture that can be exact, but it's anywhere close to almost right out up here. What's your approximate location? I am off of 165 on Rainbow Drive, behind the campground. Copy that.
So that debris was just like leaves and limbs and stuff, so it's not nothing to get reporting or anything like that. Let's see if I can. So I'm kind of following up this storm. I'm not really interested in being underneath it, so in case it does produce anything, I want to be at a distance where I can monitor it. That wind's blowing really hard. I'll start listening to public service a little bit. Sometimes you can start getting reports of damage through it. When storms come through like this, you'll hear a lot of fire calls going out for alarm systems. Very typical for residential systems to be doing that. So I'm looking at that same spot northeast of here, and I don't even want to call it circulation, but let's just say an area of interest kind of gathering together. Pretty good winds. Man. Come on, Mike. Well, here comes a warning. So that's the tone I'm listening for the whole time. Now my net control is going to read the same warning,
And the National Weather Service Extreme Field Safety has a severe thunderstorm warning for West Dakota County, West County, White County, Western Goodwood County, Daly County.
so they're just A little bit of street flooding here. So they're just extending that warning on out. Jump to this left lane. I think the the weather tower got hit because with lightning, sometimes they'll reset, disappeared. But I'm seeing that do like a, way that line's coming together, right up in that area, especially on velocity. I mean, it's doing some interesting stuff right there. So we can get up here and get to another vantage spot. Again, you'll find storm spotters have designated spots they like to go park, or their favorite hideouts, or, you know, favorite viewing spots. So that's kind of the situation here. There has been some times where I'll go out and just, you know, cover the whole county. But a lot of your storm spotters, they have jobs and you know, family commitments, etc. That keeps them from going out and doing that. So I'm crossing over a pretty popular creek here, and it's usually prone to flooding, so I'm kind of looking at that as I go too. And again, the whole time I'm looking for any kind of damage. So if there's any damage, I need to report. The National Weather Service takes those kind of reports and helps them to do, they'll do after-action surveys and damage assessment and surveys on the sites, and they'll combine some of that damage with the radar data from the timestamps, and you know, it helps them to decide. They do a lot of research and studying after the fact, so that's really interesting. A lot of that information is out on the web. You can pull those up and look at them yourself. And a lot of times, especially after tornado events, they'll show the trails, the tracks, the paths. Sometimes they'll have different spotted photos and stuff. It's kind of very interesting to read some of that. The main system's pretty much off. I mean, I'm still watching some interesting winds on the radar. I'm not in any way predicting it, but it wouldn't surprise me if they have any kind of uptick in the terminology. Sometimes you'll hear on a severe thunderstorm warning, they may have a line on there that says tornado possible. They'll put something like that in the verbiage. So I'm hearing in our county, a sheriff dispatcher talking about trees being down. Now, and she just said, you know, their phones are ringing off the hook. So usually after events like this, just know that the weather can affect dispatch and timing of response from first responders and stuff like that too. So that all goes hand in hand. Try to get up here. I'm just going to go up here to the left a little bit to my other lookout. While we're waiting on the slide. Look at how this is. Oh, it's just a very, and here's that outflow boundary. All that wind blowing out of that thing. There's something definitely going on with the NOAA radio. It wouldn't surprise me if it got hit. I've heard that happen. Might get struck by lightning, it'll just reboot itself. So there's some more flooding going on down here. Popular spot there where that car just came through.
County 144. You see a tree down right there? Where you at?
Mark Street walking, Newberry shoulder, it is lost living as possible. It's only close to the guardrail.
Yeah, starting to already see some sunshine back there. 58 degrees, so it's another thing I like to do when I'm spotting like this, to kind of monitor the temperature. In this situation, a cool front coming through.
This is Y0J. Give me a call again.
All signed in AG7. About to have a foresight, heavy rain and wind.
Copy that. We'll also get reports across be very cautious.
And for your
Yeah, you're both breaking up into the repeater there. KB0W, is that Oh, a light pole came down. Yeah, that'll give you some idea how.
137.
So my number one lookout point was busy, so we're going to come over here to this next one.
W9 MAM.
So there's a lot of our locals coming in.
W9 MAM. Y0J. Go ahead, Ron. Yeah, it's fast here. It was pretty wild for just a few minutes. Everything seems to be okay. I haven't been outside yet. But the antennas, the trees, and everything were okay. Copy that. Make sure to report. Y0J.
Let's see if we can get you a little better.
Tornado watch means the conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather, including tornadoes, large hail and damaging winds.
44 to 46.
While severe weather may not be imminent, persons should remain alert for rapid
46 direct, I'll be around station 2.
and listen for later statements and possible warnings. Stay tuned to your weather radio.
Alright, Y0J.
Television outlets or internet sources for the latest severe weather information. Repeating, Tornado Watch number 154 remains in effect until 7 p.m. Central Daylight.
In Y0J, you're really scratching to the repeater there at times. KB0W, is that a
The current time is 4:20 p.m.
Copy that. Not sure.
looking at some hill right here?
Anything better?
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Occasionally, you would just disappear for a couple of words or syllables. So let's see if that works. KB0W, is that a
Copy that.
So a lot of trees blocking the roads. This is a tornado warning north.
Roadway, however, is the pole blocking the roadway?
Several, a couple of counties north of
Can you
us.
see a pole number on it so I can contact Liberty?
Field damage to vehicles is expected.
I can walk where
Damage to roofs. Sighting.
That's there. I'll contact Liberty.
Locations impacted include
Oh, the area there's the one I'm.
Illinois, Brushy Top, Elmhead,
See what that looks like on.
Kerrville, Fordham, Stockfield,
Looks like over here.
Sparta, Stratford,
if you could
Pontiac,
just that last quarter before you get the
Tornado to the south.
Go ahead.
Do you see that tornado warning or just south of the Cheney, Boone County line in Arkansas?
Here comes another warning. This is the one coming across right now.
The National Weather Service in Springfield has issued a tornado warning for northwestern Douglas County, north central Tennessee County, Crystal County, for 45 p.m.
No, they're issuing
1223.
right there, right where I just called it. Are you kidding me? I just circled that for you guys. Right there.
roundabout.
That's crazy. So, we're on the back side of that. This is what we're kind of looking at. And it would almost be more this, just a hair this way.
153 McDaniel. They did advise that they did not have anyone hurt, but they've got handicapped one time.
So I'm looking now to see if I see any kind of wall cloud. Of course, we're on the back side, so. And as we look at that, see how that's, oh yeah, it's starting to change quite a bit. I mean,
Tornado hazard. Authority National Weather Service.
get the latest scan here.
Also, any areas, any stations that are in those areas, damage or
Now the other one, it's crazy.
153 McDaniel. 431.
out down in the trees down at Rockaway.
Rockaway Beach.
Copy, is your power out?
So you can see how
Negative, I'm still good.
Before that, we're going to go ahead and walk in there.
these winds are going two different directions. Green is towards the radar, red is away. You can kind of see how they're starting to couple it here. I was just,
This tornado warning that was just issued was not the one I was watching. There is again one south, east of Branson. It's going to be in the Pro Tem, Mark Twain, Reuter area.
I'm just looking
Or
here.
if it comes across the state line, that's where it's going to be. Currently, the tornado warning is south of those areas in Boone County, Arkansas.
Copy that. Thanks for that. I missed that one completely. That stuff was scrolling by so fast.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that to. There for a second, I almost could see through there. The camera does better with it than our eyes.
Thursday, it's going to be, the storm's going to be located between Omaha, Arkansas, and Diamond City, somewhere along Highway 14. So just maybe 10 miles, 10, 15 miles south of the Missouri state line.
Copy that, invoice urgent.
70's going to be inside with the individuals in the house.
70 advised if there's actual injuries. TTA was not paid. They did advise there was none.
Trying to get you some.
No injuries.
Kind of curious if we can see inside there a little bit. It's really starting to tighten up a little bit on radar too. So.
Ranger 22, 1018. 1018. 1019, still running traffic. Streets are clear.
So anyways, not much we're gonna see here. That's it right there. Look at that. See how I keep trying to pull my pencil out.
This is Springfield, go ahead.
See how it's trying to tighten up a little bit there.
The National Weather Service in Springfield at 4:25 p.m. Tornado warning for North Central County.
Yeah, they're canceling it. You can see how it's kind of breaking up there. Oh, there's still a little notch on it, so that's. Oh, they're canceling because it's moving out of the county.
Perry County, we do have a tree down in this area. MoDOT is en route with an unknown ETA. That was as of 15, 26 hours. You said there's a crash unrelated on the other side of it.
That's interesting. It's over there. We're on the back side of it. There's no way I can catch to it or anything. But again, the whole purpose of this today was to kind of show you how we get information, give information, and really wanted to show you a difference between a storm spotter
we have a ranger in that area.
And a storm chaser per se. I'm just kind of looking here on the radar. Nothing really coming in behind. Yeah, this one here, they'll still want to watch that. So basically, that now goes into a new county, and that tornado warning there, and other spotters and stuff will be handling that up there. And that kind of pretty much does it for us. Again, chasers, full-time. They do it full-time. It's kind of a business for them. It's their job. They receive income for doing it, whether that's through YouTube plays, streams, videos. And I don't ever knock that. I think that'd be kind of cool to be able to do that full time. But whereas I'm more from a public service, and we do it to help the community. Not that they don't. And I've seen some of our meteorologists. They will issue warnings or make decisions off of, even if those streams are going out there, those chasers are out there, they'll use that to help make decisions on those, some of those warnings. So nothing wrong with that. We have a direct line of communications with our radio nets. Again, the local meteorology office has radios. They do have ham radios in the National Weather Service office. Yeah, there's a light down on the ground right here. So that's crazy. I'm out to remote into my cameras at home and check everything, make sure we're good there. But So yeah, that's what we do. We use a lot of different radios. In my situation, now when you watch those guys out there, they pretty much are relying on the radar scope, and they're making their own forecast decisions based off what they're seeing. Kind of similar to what I was doing when I circled that little spot on the radar. I saw that wind blowing. I'm like, man, that's an area I would be watching. So the Weather Service didn't dispatch me that way. My net control didn't dispatch me that way. That's just, I have that liberty to make that decision. Just listening to the net control there. And then I just communicate and try to relay that information through our net control. Ham radio, maybe a GMRS radio you could scan around, listen. But just about every county has a Skywarn. And that, again, that's just volunteer ham radio operators that are calling in reports. And so if you have just a regular police scanner, you can listen to that. You can find those scanners on, or those frequencies online. You do it that way. This is that real popular flooding spot, so just hover over it. But this is a little bit different kind of stream, but I kind of wanted to show you like on the job. Hope you liked it. It's a little bit different. If you were looking for like twisters and all that, ours is, yeah, let's get over here. That's right there, some flooding. So if there's a lot of flooding, I may report that to the Weather Service or to our net control and let them relay it. They do issue flood warnings and stuff like that off of decisions. So anyways, in our part of the country, tear these little down now. In my part of the country, we don't have a lot of the HP supercells like you would see like in Oklahoma, Kansas, Tornado Alley. We are in Tornado Alley, but because we're a hilly terrain like this, got these high points, low point. Here's another high point right here. You're gonna see part of the town off in the distance. You can kind of cover almost most of it there. But because of that, it tends to affect our weather pattern a little bit. We don't really have a lot of what the textbook looking tornadoes and structures. So we do get a lot of squall lines, and that's kind of where basically what you're looking at. This is kind of a squall line. It's all one long line, and we get tornadoes that will spin up, just like right now. There's one right there, and it'll spin up along that front, and it's like an HP supercell. You would chase that normally from the southwest side of it. If it's moving northeast, you're going to be on the back corner looking into it from the clear-free base. These squall lines are harder to chase. They're a little bit different. You have to, honestly, if you're going to try to chase it, you would have to run along the front of it. But a lot of these run 50 to 60 mile an hour. They're cooking along, and you just can't do that in these backwoods and the curvy roads that we live in. So that's really hard to do. So a lot of ours is just being there to relay, ground truths, hit our high points, kind of watch as it comes through, follow along with any damage reports. Those damage reports get relayed in, and if it's something that needs to be called into 911, it gets handled appropriately. So, anyways, get information, give information. That's our slogan right there. So, even just having these tools can help you as an individual. Maybe you're kind of like, I'm tied in with the Weather Service here, maybe you're not tied in, but you want to know what's going on. And that's kind of how I started. I started reading radar, had no clue. I'd do searches on it, I'd Google it. You know, I'd try to figure out what are they seeing. I would watch as they issued warnings, and I would just kind of study, in a sense, what they were doing. And then I would try to learn and see, okay, well, maybe I can anticipate that next time. I was questioning that circle I drew on that velocity when I saw that signature. But I thought it was interesting how the winds were kind of acting. They weren't acting like they normally would. And so that kind of made me say, well, maybe something here. I'm just going to blame that on luck. I don't want to, because sometimes I do that and I'll second guess it. But if I'm just a regular civilian, not dealing with this, and I'm watching that, and I'm like, dude, maybe we need to, get my family in the basement. They haven't issued a warning, but there's something there that looks kind of. So I actually was able to jump the warning by, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm just saying, hey, get your shoes on or whatever. Another thing I encourage is during storm season, don't go to bed and, have some boots on. If you're going to your shelter, make sure you're wearing boots. Actually dressed, seen so many videos and stuff of people after a tornado hit their house and they're out barefooted or something. So just be prepared. So anyways, it's been an interesting stream. I hope it worked out. I've got another yellow error code up here on the thing, so although it just went away. So, and it may be because I'm driving around here too. So, but I'm just about to get to work, so I think I'm gonna jump off for now, and we'll see you guys again. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Leave a message, comment, like, share.